is a good person and won't fall into that stuff later on. Sincerely, Wondering.
Well, first, I also come from a family that on both sides has a history of addiction, and some mental health issues too. I in getting sober, I was able to really identify those generational patterns, and boy, are they really powerful. And so I just wanted to commend this person for recognizing the power of generational patterns. And I think even just asking that question is really powerful. A lot of these things play out because people aren't conscious about them. So this person asking themselves, how do I not replicate these? I think you're already kind of on the path to success there by even asking that question.
Yeah, I think you put that really well. I really agree with that. That someone who's asking these kinds of questions, who's aware of the patterns in their family and does not want to repeat them, someone who's seeking out help in the form of therapy, is in good shape. That, I'd say you're really, not that things will be perfect, and that it is likely that you might catch yourself at times. I don't know. You might catch yourself being drawn to certain situations or certain types of thinking that aren't best for you. But no one gets through life without fucking up. And I would say that the fact that you have this awareness and this intention is going to be hugely protective. I think that the question, how do I deal with those fears, really resonates with me. And my thought about it is that, yes, like the patterns in our families of origin are really powerful. And that having those fears is like very normal. Being afraid that you're going to repeat those patterns, and that those, that some of the traumas that you've experienced as a young person might happen again or might come back. I guess I just have an urge to normalize those fears. How do I deal with those fear? The term radical acceptance pops into my mind. Accepting that is a painful fear that you might have. That's not to say that you can't learn to deal with it and face it and grapple with it, but that might just be a fear that you have.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
Yeah,
to have those fears. We all have those. I think about that too. With getting married in a few months to a wonderful partner, and
congrats.
Thank you. And she doesn't have any addiction issues, but there are genetic patterns too, and I have that fear. The idea that I might have a child who is an addict or an alcoholic terrifies me. But I'm okay. It's okay that I have that fear. I can sit with that. I have a stronger desire to bring someone into this world and teach them and show them the right directions. Then I do fear that they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get drunk and crash their car or hurt themselves or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear is there. I just have to recognize it and just kind of move on.
I'm thinking about the last part of this question. How do I know my partner is a good person and won't fall into that stuff later on? And my sense of this person is that they know themselves pretty well, and that they're continuing to work on knowing themselves. They said that they've been in unhealthy relationships in the past, so maybe there's a part of them that doesn't trust their own judgment. But it sounds like from all the information that we're getting in this letter that this person seems trustworthy, and seems mellow and stable and loving, to put it in Wondering's words. And I guess you don't know if the person will fall into addiction later on. There's no way to know. But I feel confident that this person could and would deal with that if it came up. So I wonder what would happen if Wondering was able to let go of that fear a little bit. If they're able to let go of the worry, what would happen? What would happen if this person fell into addiction? What would happen if they're not good? I wonder what would come up if they let go of that fear and let themselves just sort of experience the relationship for a couple of years. I wonder what else would come up.
I did hear that they mentioned that they had spent some time in Al-Anon too, and congratulations. I think that's a great program.
Do you want to explain what that is for our listeners?
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of personal experience with Al-Anon, but I do have family that have gone to that program, and so my understanding of it is that it is a program for people who are close to people that are struggling with addiction. My mother went to Al-Anon for a while, and what she told me was that it really helped her. It helped her in not feeling alone. Like, she was the only person who had, an alcoholic family member. She was able to belong to her own community, and also to set some really strong boundaries. Because addiction and boundaries are they just go together. Addiction and breaking boundaries, excuse me, go hand in hand. So being able to set them and stick to them, I think, is a really important thing for someone who has a loved one that has addiction in their life, whether it's active or not, and being able to stick to them. So I would say to this person to pull from that experience from Al-Anon, and maybe stay connected or reconnect with that community if that's a fear of yours, that this person is going to slip back into or fall into addiction. It's a wonderful program, and it's there in large part for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much for helping, for joining us and for helping our listeners with their questions, Jimmy. This has been such a wonderful conversation. I really,
thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I want to end on a kind of like silly surf related question that I didn't prepare yet. So, I want you to, I think, I asked you this when I interviewed you for the primitive skills piece that's hopefully will come out someday in the near future. What I want you to describe, like, the most epic barrel you've ever gotten in your life in vivid, sensuous detail. Go.
I'm not a surfer. I'm just a garbage man. Oh man, the most epic barrel that I've ever had. Probably one that I didn't even get out of. And it was, that's the most vivid one that just pops to mind instantly. And it was just, it was on the first surfboard that I ever made for myself. And I went down to Puerto Rico, and it was the first time I'd used this board. Like, I literally just finished sanding the board the day that I flew down there. And got to surf it a couple times and get used to it, and it felt, amazing to surf a board that I'd built with my own
twin
two
fin
hands.
thruster?
It was a twin fin. It was a fish. Yeah, it was a 5'6" keel fish, just really traditional outline and foil. And Mackenzie, my partner, and I were staying in front of this kind of misto little left. And as most people who've been to Puerto Rico will know, there aren't a lot of lefts there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a goofy foot, so I'll take any left I can get. And we were just staying in front of this little no-name spot, and it was just pumping one day, and it was just the two of us trading waves, which was really special in itself. And it was sunset, and it was just glassed off, and these beautiful little, like 5-6 foot lefts peeling off this reef. And I paddled into this wave, dropped in, got my speed going, and I saw this little section building up ahead, and I thought, I can float over this thing, or I can just pull in and hope for the best, and gave it an extra pump of speed, and the thing threw over me, and just the way that the water was reflecting the light of the sunset, and just seeing the light at the end, and then just getting absolutely annihilated, was just such a wonderful feeling. Just the speed, and then just the feeling of the wave just pitching over you, and the weird things that it does to your sense of time and space, and audio and visual perception is incredible. So that was it for me. Yeah,
that's beautiful. You took me
Thank
there
you.
during what's been a bit of a drought.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
That was like really, I needed that. So I want to ask you to share with the people where, like, if someone wants to order a board, where should they go? If they want to order a poem Surfcraft, you make beautiful boards.
Thanks, man.
Homemade here in New York City. Where can they find you?
Yeah. So right now they can just find me on Instagram. My handle is Jimbo_on-the-moon. Don't have a website at the moment. I'm working on that. So hopefully that'll be up pretty soon. But yeah, just reach out to find me on Instagram.
And what kind of boards do you like making? Like, what's your specialty? What kind of boards do you feel what do you like making for people?
I love making single fins and twin fins. It's just what I like to ride. I ride everything, but for New York, I think if you have a good single fin and a good twin fin, you really can't go wrong with a quiver like that. So that's what I love to make, but really everything.
Sick. Cool. All right. I'm going to read off a couple of resources. Here we go. First, I want to say that if you or someone is considering harming themselves, if you're worried about them, you can always call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. Help is available 24 hours a day in English, Spanish, and I believe other languages as well. That's 1-800-273-8255. If you live here in New York City and you need to speak with someone, every public hospital in New York has a mental health clinic, and there are sessions for as low as $15. Kings County Hospital is one that's centrally located, and their behavioral health center offers adult psychotherapy on a sliding scale for as low as $15. There's the Brooklyn Center for Psychotherapy and New Directions. It costs $60 for an intake appointment. There's sliding scale, and there is in-network coverage for folks with insurance. There's the Ackerman Institute, which offers free and low-cost family and couples therapy. So you can check them out at ackerman.org. And I highly recommend them. If folks have been having a hard time being cooped up in their little apartments in New York City, it's not easy on a relationship. Our music is by Glass. You can find them on Instagram at Glass the Band. You can find them on Spotify and anywhere else you listen to music. If you liked our podcast, please tell your friends about it. Leave a review. And please contribute a question. You can go to @DearShredder on Instagram. Give us a follow. There is a link there where you can submit your anonymous questions. that we'll talk about on future episodes.